Well, what's the crack, everybody? How are you going on? Listen, I'm just popping on before the full podcast comes out, right behind this one. It's to apologise for the dreadful sound. Yes, I didn't realise I didn't have the good mic on. For some reason, every so often, it just likes to play silly buggers on me. And knowing that I already had a bit of a cold in my voice, it decided, no, we're just going to use the Mac. So it did. It just uses the Mac mic. And I've, I don't know, it's like 30, 40 minutes of a podcast that's all recorded, and it's a bit tinny, so I'm just going to apologise now. This is supposed to be a podcast expoing how good the Ramble pod is during the week that is exclusive only to Patreons. Trust me, it's normally through this microphone. I'm an absolute tit. But sure, look it. I'm fit to collapse with the cold I have, lads. I didn't realise how bad it was until I stopped recording and nearly fell off the seat. But sure, look it. I'd record it again if I could, but the magic just won't be there. So please, imagine that you're listening through the high quality mic and not straight to the old computer. Here's the podcast. Well, what's the crack, everybody? How are you getting on? Welcome to a Ramble pod. I know this is out there for the general public on Friday, the 6th of January 2023. It's a little taster for them thinking, will I become a Patreon? Oh, we want to. Look, it's a little taster, but also I have a couple of announcements that I want to make to the general public and whatnot. But thank you everybody who has become Patreons over the new year and Christmas and all the rest of it. A raking you people have jumped over. Mostly, I would imagine, because of my special is over there on Patreon. But I wanted to do this because it's a nice way to just dip in, say hello. And this is because these midweek Ramble pods, this is typically a midweek Ramble pod, even though it's a Friday. Typically, this is what you get as a Patreon. Exclusively put these up in the middle of the week, along with, live chats with the gang. At the odd Sunday, we do one every couple of Sundays. We do one. We sit down, we have tea, drink, whatever you want, and have an old natter. But I just wanted to pop on to the general because I have the first couple of episodes of Buckshot recorded, but I'll be putting them out from next Friday. But I will be under a different name. Nothing's changing. You don't need to subscribe to anything new. But when you see it popping up in your newsfeed, it won't say Buckshot anymore. We've reached, I think we're probably 5 years. I don't know. I think we're 5 years in. And I think it's time. I think I've earned the right. Because more so, people kept on kind of saying when they referenced my podcast, when telling their friends and stuff about my podcast, it was like, which one? Oh, Tom's podcast. Tom O'Mahony's podcast. The Tom O'Mahony show. It's called Buckshot. So it's like, oh, gee, you know what? I probably should just change it to the Tom O'Mahony show. My ego wasn't big enough, or I wasn't confident enough to do it day one, I guess. You're trying to come up with cool, snazzy names and stuff like that. But when it's just one bloke, typically, and you're kind of hanging around my shoulders, my neck, or whatever, maybe you don't have to get too trendy. But I always liked the name Buckshot. I had a bunch of artwork done from a show that I did, a stand-up hour that I did a couple of years back. And I just liked it. And I just thought it sounded cool. And it's time, I think, to switch. It is time. Because I've commissioned Aoife Dooley to do all the logo. Now, I don't know if by the time you're hearing this, I'm going to leave a Buckshot for today. But as by the middle of next week, you'll see a change in your Spotify or whatever, wherever you're getting the podcast. You'll see a change to the Tom O'Mahony show, and you'll either see my face or a new logo. I'm not pushing Aoife because she's had a mental Christmas, and so she'll have it done the next week or two. She was saying so. That will then change to but it will be called the Tom O'Mahony show. There you have it. There you have it. That's the big announcement. I think I mooted it to the moot. I like that word, moot. I used it actually in the podcast I just recorded, the episode I just recorded. Some very exciting stuff, podcast-wise, show-wise, and everything coming up throughout the year. And I know everybody says, so seriously, it's big news. I don't know how big it is at all. But I'm excited about the stuff that I have put in place and am planning to do for ye, to entertain ye over the coming year. So, if I'm excited, it's worth a look then, says you. It's worth a listen at the very least. So, yeah. Fair play to all the new patrons. I will be thanking you personally over when I do the Ramble Pod next week. I'll name you all out because sometimes people don't. They go, hey, relax. I just want to listen to the podcast stuff. I don't need to be, you don't. But I will I will. If I haven't actually sent you a message, each person, I normally am fairly fast on it because if I don't, I'll miss it, and it seems like an ignorant bollocks when somebody has signed up to your Patreon that you haven't sent them a message. I typically do. It isn't an automated message; it's me. It only takes 2 seconds, but it's polite. It's polite, lads. Do you know what I mean? But this, of course, is just a taster. This is what it is on a midweek basis. Um, Mighty to everybody that has watched my new show over on the Patreon channel. Thank you all very, very much. Some very nice, some short and snappy, which I like too. But a couple of people have sent me long messages going, yes, this is what I was hoping to see. This is it. Listen, it was a stand-up special recorded with a very small budget, no management team, no bookers, no nothing. So it's and it was kind of, I won't say last minute, but it wasn't planned from like early doors out where I was going to record it. But I always wanted to record it, and then you'd see a lot of people go, why don't more people? Because it burns all the jokes. That full hour of jokes that have been well honed, they're gone, which I'm not delighted by. Delighted is the wrong word. I feel connected to the jokes, but it's like, oh, they're gone. That's it, gone. So you need more. You need a new show, which we're already about. I'm thinking of about half an hour of a new show written, which I'll be trialing in bits and pieces, around the countryside over the next couple of months. And I'm going to start booking the show in next week because things are bananas right this minute because we've just turned the corner into the new year, and you're getting kind of fucking, there's a lot of stuff to be put in place. I could fair do with a fucking sidekick. I won't call him a PA, a sidekick, just to do all the bookings and emails and stuff. But I wouldn't put it on anybody because I can't pay you. I'm sure it'd be no bother at all if I could pay you. But we'll get there. We'll get there one day. We'll get there one day. But it was very, very cool to put that up. And it's, you create a yoke and then people give you class reactions back. You don't have to say it. That's the thing. You don't have to say it. But people are actually messaging me direct on Patreon and stuff going, that was the bee's knees. That's exactly what I wanted. A few pints, felt like I was there. And I actually like it because at first I was kind of you're going, is it a bit, because it's only in a small little comedy club. There's like 50 people, it's not a big theatre and stuff. But almost nobody does it that way. In one way, I was thinking, even if I had a huge budget, I wouldn't change much. Maybe an extra camera, not many more, maybe one more, other than the few we had. But I don't think I would have done it much different. Because I love that particular club, the Roisin Dove upstairs. I love it so much. I'd had 2 or 3 gigs in the week previous to that, 2 gigs in the week previous to that, in the run up to it. The night before, I had 3 outrageously good gigs, and you're kind of going, there's a fizz, there's a magic in here, there's something in here, and the people were on board, and I just love, if I'm enjoying it, surely a bit of Jesus, because it's one thing to do it in a theatre, but if it's not a place you're utterly comfortable with, then, now I know a lot of the Americans still actually do 2 shows, which I'm thinking about for later on this year, if I could sell hard enough, sell an early show, sell a late show, film the 2 of them, and snip what's needed out of either one. They'll do 2, just for, but I kind of like the run with your brown rawness to it. Like, I introduced myself on stage, I didn't do it. I was gonna do, a whole, like, kind of build up, filmed somewhere else, kind of build up to it like some people do, and number one, didn't have the time. You know what I mean? And neither did Florian, the guy film. So it was. I think it was cool to just the way it is. So thank you all very, very much for watching it. It's over there for anybody who's kind of going, for $3, you can go over there and listen to it, or watch it, I should say. You can listen to it too. You can just go cook it dinner and put it on the background. You can, for $3. I think it's $3. I think it's the minimum you can go in. Some people have, there's a tipping thing there. If you do want it, there's no pressure at all. Like, it's just like the idea being is if you did enjoy it and you would have bought a ticket and gone to see it if you could, cool, throw in whatever. And it makes it all the nicer. But thank you very, very much. I haven't talked to you in ages. Haven't talked ad nauseum in a just even to the just I suppose the last one was just before Christmas, and then Christmas gigs. I was wrapping up all these. I was doing all these corporates and stuff like that. And they're they're great. They're lovely to get, if you know what I mean. But my your passion is in comedy clubs, and a passion, and I'm lucky enough to have my own comedy club. That thanks be to Jesus. With I mean, I'm literally the groundwork. You've got to go around putting up posters, laminated posters outside. You're putting, and it's working. It's thanks be to God. It's a small room, maybe 90 seats max. That's fucking crowbarring them in at 90 seats. We got, I think it was 90 the other night, and that was it. That was it. Special mention to John and the Missus, long term Patreon, who showed up. And yes, John, you may have noticed that I did not react to what you your reference to what the kind of chair you'd need for the missus. By that I mean congratulations, but I did not react to it in the man. Fine for you to have a dig at each other because you're a funny couple, but I ain't getting involved, especially when I'm wrangling the kind of front row I had to wrangle with that night. Because you'll know what I'm talking about, and I'm not going to say it here, but I will most definitely be talking about that front row on next week's Ramble Pod. So for nothing else, you're going, oh, who's he talking about? I had an interesting time. Hey, it's keeps you on your toes. It keeps you on your toes. How to wrangle wildness, wild, chaotic wildness. I had a front row the other night. That you know what wasn't. The owners were like, "Are you annoyed?" I'm like, "No, I'm delighted actually because we were all in it together and it was a good buzz. It's just there's a lovely buzz in that club. It's the Hill Comedy Club. It's my club, and the venue are just so sound. They're putting in new lighting system for me and everything, new curtain wall and stuff. It's gonna be. I'm gonna make it the coolest fucking club in the country. I don't give a fuck. I'm saying that out loud in front of everybody. I love every club in the country that I play, but I think it's not even going to be competition because the nearest club is like fucking 60 miles away in Cork. That's the nearest club. I think we're okay. It's not going to be competition, but I want to get it up there with some of the best clubs. Like I talked about the Roisin Dove. You know, there's a reason why I filmed my special there. I probably will again, even with my own club. But I just, it's always nice to eat out at a restaurant, even if you do make good food at home. It's just what I'm trying to say a lot. You know what I mean? It was a great night, great night. So if you do, Bernard Casey is this month. If you do want to pop along like that, John came up, I think, North Cork. It's not a short drive, but at the same time, he knew night away. Let's get down up to Tip, I suppose, in that direction. Same as that. It's a whopper. It's a cracking little pub. This literally the second I put the mic in the mic stand, your man starts singing music out in the bar. They're just waiting for it. It's brilliant. So the second the doors open, there's music waiting for you. And you know what I mean? The pints are cheap. It's a good spot to be. The Bernard Casey one we're at 50% tickets sold already on the 28th. So we're what now? You got 22 days to get your ticket. So I would advise coming along. It's a strong setup. It's a strong setup. I enjoy the shit out of it. I mean, I really, really am enjoying this club. I've ran comedy gigs before, ran nights before in places that were maybe it's an affinity. The fact that I'm from up the road. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But there seems to be we're all in this together. Kind of let's make this a cool club. And the idea being too is like, why shouldn't we? There's always been kind of a thing. That was actually something that was said out loud to me by a woman and her friend. They were afterwards. She was also a woman. I don't know why her friend. Her friend was a chimpanzee. She goes, why she'd moved back home from London. Like she was like, what is a yoga club? After opening up the road, there's this, there's that. There's nice restaurants now. Why the fuck shouldn't we? Why? Yeah, it's a small rural town. But why shouldn't we have the good stuff? I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's why I moved here. That's why I moved back. Why shouldn't we have the cool stuff too? Why shouldn't we have a badass comedy club? Because I'll tell you one thing, comedians will travel. If there's one thing you'll know from listening to me over the years, comedians will travel, especially if it's a great room. If the room is banging, i.e. the audience are amazing, because that's what makes a room. Yes, there's the little tiny things like the chairs are pointing in the right direction. We'll get you got good lighting, right stage height and stuff like that, and the environment is good, and you know outward noise and stuff. But if you got a good environment every time you're there with the good audience. Top end comics will travel, and you wouldn't believe the people that have started magically following me on Instagram. You're like, oh, really? I'm interesting now, am I? But that's cool. That's very cool. I'm very glad of it. So that's the comedy club. So that was the 29th. And then New Year's did fuck all. Nothing. Did nothing on New Year's, which most New Year's I'm gigging some bastard place, and I was so glad to have all my corporate stuff wiped, done, and dusted by like the 20th, I think. Was it the 20th? Or I don't know why I'm asking you, lads. Why am I fucking asking you when I could literally open my phone? But I'm not, that's my policy. I like to just shoot from the hip, which I've nothing on my hips, so I'm not shooting it, but I'm just saying. I think it was around the 20th I was done and dusted. Dusted. It was glorious. Glorious. My Christmas day consisted of very little. It was lovely. One glorious thing we did. It's like this beautiful fucking country thing. There's I've forgotten. Like there's a little shop up in the village up the road, and the one. Actually, by the way, before I go any further, did somebody send me something, or because there's a package, and I don't know, has anybody? This may be a dodge. No, it can't be, right? It can't be, because here's the thing. Here, I knew I'd forgotten this, and I had to say this on the podcast, and I wouldn't do it in intro. So this is a perfect place to say it. So a letter comes to the door the other day. I was out. We're all out, and in the letter is a kind of "we missed you" note. Do you know, one of those ones you get? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That cough. I'm not dying. I'm not dying. And any for my outside of Ireland listeners, that's not a literal dying either. That people are talking about in Ireland, they just say things like I'm dying of a cold or a flu. I got a bit of a cough. And I've just been talking flat to the mat for an hour just before this. But so I get this letter, right? And it's like a personal printed, like you print at home with like clip art van on it. And it's like, Alan has missed you as a parcel here, and call him on this number. Now I called it. It was out of hours, and I'll wait till the middle of the day tomorrow to try again. I left a message going, "Hey man, you left this. Look at, just leave it or whatever." But here's why I'm asking you, because on the fucking little envelope was Tom O'Mahony, Buckshot, which is not the fucking name of my house. It's the name of the office studio, yeah, but it's not the fucking name of the house, which I love. I love. I don't think my wife would let me away with calling the house Buckshot. I'm not sure I would either, given especially that I'm changing the fucking name. But Buckshot Studios is about to get bigger, so that is becoming its own company that will umbrella. That's the reason behind it. There's going to be a few more podcasts coming under the Buckshot Studios umbrella. That's another thing that you don't have to be one bit worried about. But yeah, Buckshot, County Tip. Like, what the fuck? How good is the postal service around here anyway? Well, it's kind of strange. So it wasn't DPD. It wasn't whoever Fastway. It wasn't fucking DHL. It wasn't, the other. And it was some dude in a van who I'm guessing is his own business. Alan or something. I mean, is this a thing that's done? I don't think I've ever come across this. The odd one will leave a "we missed you" note. Do you know what I mean? But this was in an envelope. Tom O'Mahony, Buckshot. So that's literally what must be written on the parcel. County Tip. Not Tipperary even, County Tip. Like, so I'm guessing it's sent from inside Ireland. If anybody knows, that'd be great. That'd be great. So Buckshot, County Tip. It's broad, but you got to take your hat up to a bit of old school fucking. I know Dara O'Brien did a joke about it years ago, that he'll just write the family name on it and the county, and that it'll get there. And that has literally happened. My name, my podcast, or my previously named podcast, currently as you hear this, but and the county. And not even the nickname for the county, not even the full county, which is I fucking love. And I'm kind of weirded and intrigued. Actually, maybe I should go up to the garage, because I did, and the message I left yesterday was just leave it in the garage. Maybe he's left it in the garage. I will report back next week if I do get to the bottom of this. If anybody knows, if you send something, class, and also double class that you can actually send something by just saying the county on it. I wonder how slim you could make it. Could you just put Tom O'Mahony, Buckshot, and it still gets to me. I wonder. I should try it someday. No, why would I do that? That's fucking egotistical. Um, so it was glorious. So anyway, getting back to Christmas Day, we did the obligatory, went to Mass, 11 o'clock Mass up in the village, up the road. Quickly said hello. I don't know, I went Australian there, but said hello to the lovely priest, who he was the man that married us, and we hadn't seen him in yonks. And Ursul's mother came with us. She went, you know what would be great? It'd be a bag of blocks. Do you reckon any shop is open? I'm like, oh, it's fucking Christmas Day. What are you looking for? Timber, like blocks for anybody again wondering what she's come building the wall. No, timber blocks. I'm like, but how do you not have these in? Of course, I have a rake at home, but I'm like, they're fairly fucking precious. I'm going, I could give you a bag of them, but I can't charge you for them. I can't charge the mother-in-law for a bag of fucking blocks. Says you, yeah, I can, and I'd get it some which way, lads. I'd get it some which way, I'll tell you. Timber is precious around here, by the way. Timber is life. In case you are wondering what is the most important thing in the countryside, timber. Fire. It is the number one thing. It is life. You can cook over it. You can fucking heat yourself off it. Everything else can go to fuck. Timber. People mine it like fucking gold dust around here. So lo and behold, a shop that I haven't also been in 20 years hasn't changed in 20 years, which I love. The lady that owns it, Catherine, who is the loveliest woman under the sun, hasn't she looks exactly the same as I remember when I was 5. And she still talks about a play that I was in. My first time on a stage between the gap of 5 years of age and 27 years of age. But she said, I knew it. I knew you'd be something professional on the stage. I'm like, really? You couldn't have told 18-year-old me when I was filling out a form going to fucking college to be an engineer that I'd just go back to... Anyway, but amazing. She's open, right? I go in the door, park the car up the road because it's the only place to park, pop in the door. Happy Christmas. Come here, by any chance, do you have any blocks? I do. She says, up at my house. And I'm thinking, yeah, funny fucker. All right, happy Christmas, catch you later. She's like, no, I have a bag of them up at the house. If you want to go up and get them. So I'm not fully sure which house is hers. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I'm not sure which one is hers. She says, she'll pull up to the door here and I'll jump in with you. Thinking that I went to Mass by myself. Right. Now I have... I have the mother-in-law, the wife, the child, and the dog. I don't know why the dog was in the car. The dog definitely didn't come into Mass. She's not a practicing Catholic. Neither are we on a heavy basis. But at the same time, it's nice to nail your colours to some Mass at least one day of the year anyway, when everybody else is into something. It's nice to do something. So the dog is there. So I go back up the street, like, I'm going, actually, this is so up Natasha's road. That's something ridiculous. So what am I to do with this woman? Just put her on the fucking roof? Are we going to drive... Can she run along beside the car? Excuse me. 1 second. Apologies. Through the magic of pressing the pause button, I went out and made a cup of tea. Anyway, so I'm going, what do I do here? Because Natasha loves a scenario like this. Because it's just weird and just awkward. And awkward, that's what she loves. She loves awkward silences and weird moments. Just cry, like tears. Still can't remember why we brought the dog. Can't remember. I'm thinking, okay, she'll walk alongside. Her house can't be far. It's on the street. Out she comes. Herself runs around, jumps in the back. So now we've got the mother-in-law, the wife, the dog, the baby, sitting in the car seat in the back. In jumps Catherine. How are you keeping? In she got you the doggy and everything. Drive on up the road there. No seatbelt, no nothing. Just like we're back in 1984. Great. Off up the road. Swung in around this woman's mansion, by the way. So there's money in shops. Beautiful house. And I'm thinking, okay, she's got a stockpile of them back here in the garage or something for the shop. She goes quite into and basically it's the attached garage to the back of the house. I jump out. She goes quite in there. It's just ladies washing and everything hanging up everywhere inside the oak, knickers all over my face and everything. It's class. And there's bags of blocks there. So I take one, throw it in the boot. Off up the road, drop her back. we're roaring, laughing at just the oddity of the scenarios, tears flowing down our faces driving home, and the blocks are burning lovely in the fire. And this is about an hour and a half later. Dawned on me, I went, these aren't the shop's blocks. That woman sold me her blocks and didn't give one shit that there was all sorts of washing hanging up anyway. Didn't give a bollocks the laundry was hanging up. Just go on in there like goodbye. Grabbed them down and dropped me away back up. Still no safety belt on, but I driving back up. And she got it. I swear to God, just the beautiful weirdness in the, like, even the retelling of it was just, we like retelling it actually all sitting how we were in the car, like, with, you're going, this is why these odd brilliant people, this is why I love, because like at any like the familiarity, where would you get it? Where genuinely, for all the world, I've met shopkeepers in Dublin more times than I've met this woman in the last 25 years. I've met her maybe 5 times now in the last 2 weeks because of said incident. But like, where would you get? Put up the car there outside the door, and I'll drive, and we'll go down to my house and get it. Like the like, and just the lack of fucks is what I loved. It was like, I'm not even putting the fucking safety belt on. Just, oh, it warmed the cockles of my heart. The voice is absolutely blown out on me here. I wanted to do a Ramble pod anyway, jump on to tell you a big story about changing. That was the main thing. I wanted to tell you about my special for them of you going, what? I'll put a link below if you want to go have a gander. It's there on the Patreon page, so if it's to become you can stop being a Patreon as soon as you watched it if you like, or stick around for the rambles and the videos and the early access, as well as the everything up there is ad free. All the podcasts I put up, there's none of the ads that you'd normally hear on Spotify or any of that shit. So if ads give you a pain in the hole, it's the place to be. I normally go into a few bits, and so people, it's beautiful. You keep sending me things that you know will vex me, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Somebody, well, it didn't vex me in the least. A guy sent me a picture the other day. Oh, wait. I knew I had fucking something else to tell you. Just a glorious moment of country shit. And it's a segment I'm now going to do at the Comedy Club from now on, because it popped into my head that I have to tell people about this moment of pure and utter, if only I was rude enough to pull my phone out and record it. But it just wouldn't have even translated as beautiful. This guy I told it on stage the other night, and I want to do a segment every single month now called The Most Tipperary. And tell me your most Tipperary story. Or I will find one, if I come up. But this moment in the square in Cahir in Tipperary, where the Comedy Club is, Cahir spelled Cahir, Cahir, I suppose is what people call it, Cahir. Here, this guy was pulled up. He's clearly a farmer, sort of man who ties his trousers, but whatever he can find. It's not just quintessentially cliched baling twine. Some might be a bit of bull wire, might be a Jubilee clip. You never know, but this is the kind of man we're talking about. He was driving a 1998 Toyota Carina. One of the greatest cars that was ever built. The 98, after that, forget about it, but the 98 to 90, I don't know, maybe 95, 96. Like to say that they'll go around the fucking earth 10 times, you can't break them. And this guy was sitting there with 4, not 1, but 4 calves. For the non-agricultural amongst you, that's baby cows. 4 of them on the back seat. Happy. They were happy. They weren't kicking or screaming or nothing. They were happy. That's not even the fucking best bit. He was sitting there, obviously waiting on the wife, or the young fella, or somebody to come out of the shop, smoking a fag, which is his right to do. It's his car. When I witnessed a woman come out of the pharmacy, and an owl one, go full Karen, knock on his window. Now I think she's going to say something about the livestock on the back. This isn't even an estate one with the seats down. This is a Toyota Carina with the fucking seats up, like a saloon version. Like they could have wound down the windows themselves. I do believe, one of the windows is down a bit, like, because it's not a fucking prick. And she knocks on your man's window, and he puts it down, winds it, by the way. No, electric. It did go down electric. I'm doing a man a disservice. He says, "Is everything all right?" To her reply was, "You're an absolute disgrace." I'm thinking she's going to go at him about the livestock, and I'm kind of going, "Hey, this is par for the course around here, lady. If you're visiting, I'd shut your fucking mouth. That man has every right to have his fucking cows in the back of his car." She went, "What are you on about?" She says, "Smoking in the car with your pets." with, with his pets. Like he's fucking taking them to the groomers. Like, even if you are smoking in the car with your pet, it's your fucking business. But the fact that she thought, there's so many layers to how happy that moment made me. I was just like, this is confirming everything. This is like this is the Matrix fucking opening up in front of me going, you made the right choice, Neo. Where the fuck are you ever going to get a moment like that? You're never, that will never happen to me again in my life. To be there at that moment, to hear both sides of the conversation, to have assessed the scenario even beforehand. I didn't walk on mid-chat. I saw everything, was stopping, thinking about taking a photograph, but couldn't honestly do it to the man because he wouldn't understand why I was doing it, and I think it's rude. The fucking happiness that brought me. I know. Yeah, I normally read a couple of news stories or stuff people have sent me, and they're normally foul in some shape. My Patreons have some twisted thoughts they send me on, and I tend to find some fucking manky stuff myself. But I got somebody sent me a video of scooter racing. Now I'm you know electric scooters and me. It's like, Jesus, where are we going? Like, fine. The young fella has one. He's fucking delighted. Although I'm not getting an electric one. He's got fucking legs. He can power the thing himself. Like, he's 3. But I get it to a certain degree. Fine, if you want to just go ahead and get on that fucking thing, fair enough. All right, you know what? They make sense around Dublin and Cork and Limerick and Galway because the transport system is fucking cat's Melosian in Ireland in comparison to major cities. But if you have one in London, fuck yourself because your train system and bus system is outrageously good. Okay, it's expensive, but it's fucking outrageously good. You know what I mean? But at least you can stand up like a fucking man and walk into a train or a woman and walk in. You look like a giant fucking toddler on one of them things. There's just no. Well, what somebody sent me on was a video of people are racing. There's nothing they won't fucking race. People are racing these things now. Helmets on, motorbike suit on. They've got little fucking like fairings over the handlebars to make them go faster. It's like, but it's taken everything cool about motorbike racing and just basically put a fucking nappy on it. It's like, this is not, what the fuck? At least don't try and take yourself seriously, lads. You know what I mean? At least those helmets with a little spiky mohawk or something. Be allowed to kick each other. Have little, maybe, the spikes that come out of like Roman wheels in the Colosseum and stuff. Have little, nothing. They're actually racing like it's real fucking racing, like leaning into it and stuff. But you can only lean so much when you're standing up fucking straight. It shouldn't have got me as mad as it did. But you know what? You succeeded, sir. You succeeded. You succeeded. And people keep on asking me about Andrew Tate. I'm not getting into it. It's because it's part of my new special that I'm writing at the minute. I don't care. I don't care that much. I don't. I know one way people are being buying into the notion that there's a matrix. I mean, they are. There is no doubt. There is no doubt that they are squashing speech. There is. You can see it. You can see if I mention the C word that went on for 2 years and a bit previous. If I mention that right now, magically a blue thing comes up underneath my episode. Well, I ain't mentioning it. How the fuck is that happening? To that degree, and again, not tinfoil hatting it, but there is, like when I told you about podcasts just getting wiped, just pulled, full episodes on YouTube, gone. It's like no explanation, no nothing, no, gone. It's like, okay, all right, I guess I'm just to accept. So there is, but I think it's a great fucking thing. I mean, your man's a caricature, like he's created a caricature, but how angry he makes people and how happy he makes other people is what I find hilarious. Like, but he's just a character on telly. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like getting genuinely sour in your day-to-day life with somebody on Fair City. Do you know? It's like, What in the name of fuck? I mean, I'm a caricature for you, but at least I'm closer to the real thing than, you know, like, you know, like people are actually asking me, do I have an opinion? I'm like, no, it's like having an opinion on Bella from fucking Fair City. I don't. Fair play. He's an actor and he's making a fortune, but he's advocating. I don't care. It's all I like. Django Unchained advocated fucking slavery. Like, it's just, what are you talking about? What you need to be thinking about is real people who have cows in their car or who will climb into your car on a Christmas day and take you to their house to give you blocks. That's the kind of stuff you need to be thinking about. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm going to tip away because I'd say the voice is going to go all together. Like I said, thank you all very much. If this is your first time, you're going, how, what? If you stumbled upon this by accident in some which way, I don't know. There's maybe a possibility that you can where you just search for Irish Comedian Podcast and this is where you ended up. Hit subscribe, but I'll tell you now, this day next week, it will not be called Buckshot. It will be called The Tom O'Mahony Show. So there you go. Just so you know, that's what the major one. And to give you a little taster as to the kind of thing you get midweek as a Patreon only. So come on over, as well as that my special, which I'm very, very proud of, Clattered. And of course, my comedy club on the 28th with Bernard Casey, the last Saturday of every month. It's wild, and it's a lot of fucking fun. I would advise anyone. I wouldn't push the bollocks out of it like I am pushing the bollocks out of it because it's selling like hotcakes. But I would love Patreons and podcast listeners to make the pilgrimage to South Tipperary and come to this club because it's a good one. It's a good one. Go on away, right, lads and ladettes or lasses. I don't whatever. What and everything in between. I don't know anymore. I don't know. I almost didn't mention the cutting off the mullet. Every last one of you that donated, you are amazing. Amazing people. Right as we sit here, I couldn't believe Natasha actually put 500 quid on the donations thing. I was like, there's no fucking way anybody's gonna fucking donate. There's like, what? But I made a video, as she told me to do, telling people, and there was an outpouring of, not of sadness. There seemed to be an outpouring of people kind of going, hey, Tom, hey, come on, what are you doing? What are you fucking doing, man? I'll pay you to keep it on. And it is at €680 of the €500 target. You fucking legends. So the hair is gone. It got cut off by Stevie and Care. It's open. Again, the link in the show notes below. It's open. It'll be just below the link for the special. Will take you straight to the mullet page. If you do want to donate, it's for the Prader-Willi Association, which they don't get a lot of funding, but they could absolutely do it because it's a lesser known disease in Ireland. I suppose syndrome is really what it is, more so than disease. But it's a very, very just cause, so I'm very happy to have cut it off. I won't lie, fair miss the hair from time to time, lads. Keep on swishing around this like there's no swish. There's no swish. I've had a swish for nearly 3 fucking years at this stage. There's no swish. I talked about a phantom mullet syndrome where I keep on running my fingers through thin air. Damn near bawling my eyes out. I was the other night, lads. But if it's for a good cause and you have donated, so if all we get to is the €680, I'm blown away. I'm blown away. A load of the Patreons and podcast listeners, you donated. You absolute bag of legends. And that's all the news for now. Go on away, enjoy the rest of the weekend, and I'll talk to you again next week. Get naked, little things.